Friends, welcome back to Caminante, where your path is made by walking. The podcast where cultures collide and empires rise. I'm Luis. This is my beautiful wife, Tiffany Regalado. And today we're talking about something that has changed the way businesses are built, the way brands are built, and how they're formed. And the success is measured in today's digital world.
That's right. The creator economy has transformed everything, how we connect, sell, advertise. Whether you're an influencer, a digital entrepreneur, or a small business owner, understanding how to leverage content, social platforms, and community engagement is key to long-term success.
So I gotta say, I'm quite excited because I've seen you grown in this industry, right? So from your experience, and by the way, Tiffany is an amazing, successful creator. Back in the day, it used to be called influencer. I call it, the queen in digital marketing. But you've been doing this for what? Almost 10 years, approximately?
Yeah, I think it's been about 12 years.
So I think you have seen the industry from the early stage to where it is today. And I think it's just going to keep pushing to a different level. So what has been the major shift that you have seen in the industry from the moment that you started it to today?
The biggest shift, there's been so many. I mean, I feel like every day I wake up, there's a new way of doing things. And it's so important to be able to just quickly adapt. And you got to change on the fly or bye-bye.
Right.
But I would say really the biggest shift is how social media has really become the foundation of business. It's no longer just about sharing content. It's about building a brand,
right.
A loyal audience, and ultimately being able to monetize your influence, because without that, there's no business.
That's right. So I think that's actually the key, right? How do you monetize it? But from the moment that you started, just take us back to the humble days, you and I taking photos, right?
You loved
in
it,
downtown.
right? You miss it?
It was exciting. I love the phases on businesses where we create things and the path is not done, right?
Sure.
So those initial steps in the process, that's the phase that I love and I enjoy that very much doing it with you. But from those humble times in where we were just taking photos, trying to figure out what that content and how to spin things around to monetize to today. So what was that shift? Because it has shifted.
It has. So bloggers taking photos, getting the image, the hand, everything just perfect. It was very aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
Like the Instagram grid needed to be perfect.
Right.
And
I remember that you even tried to match, right, the images next to each other. So there's coherence, harmony. Right. I remember that.
yes, it's interesting because when you shift your mindset from having everything need to be perfect,
right,
and spend some of that time and effort and resource into strategizing profitability and ways to make money, your business completely changes.
right.
Like, I feel like we spent so much time creating, the amount of content we had.
You
I
had to
remember
create,
one time I
right,
sent to one of my
right.
partners, they were like, we've never received this much content for an event from anyone ever.
That's hilarious.
We were a powerhouse
Right.
for pushing out content.
Yeah, we were a power production house.
Yeah.
We were just producing content. So I recall that initially, that's kind of where I get a little bit divided on that thought. Because initially, when you don't have follower base, when you don't have a business to even monetize, I think that's actually what you have to do and focus on. I don't know if we could have strategized to monetize when you don't even have a follower base, right? to monetize it with.
Right.
So I think in the beginning, the strategy was right on, right spot on, is create content. I mean, I remember we were mixing traveling and then food and then fashion. I mean, we were just throwing everything at the wall just to see what stick.
Right.
Which I think is the right strategy.
Yeah.
Because you're figuring out yourself, you're figuring out your audience, and it's a relationship. I believe that in that initial phase, that's kind of what you have to do. Just try to build that momentum, create the content, start finding that relationship with your audience to then take the next step. Do you think that that actually sounds about right?
I love that.
Right.
Yeah, because too often people wait for the perfect moment or the perfect niche or the perfect partner or, you know, there's like, and you can't, you gotta just hit the ground running and try everything. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is that there's just not one way.
That's right.
In fact, there's like 10 different ways. Right. Probably more than that.
That's right. Yeah. What you're saying is it's just, there's not only one path.
Right.
Right. Again, what matters is taking that first step, see what comes along after you take that first step, then take your second, your third, and as you're walking, right, opportunities start kind of like arising, showing a little bit of, hey,
that's right.
Here is where things may get a little bit interesting, and then you start adapting quickly to the change.
Yes. Right. And opening up your business and your platforms and your brand for multiple income streams. So, you know,
let's talk about that. I think that's important because I think that's where you are saying there's not only one path, there's multiple paths in where you can capitalize. So tell us about that, because I think that's interesting, especially for those that are looking at that as a career, as an opportunity to be an entrepreneur, you know, be a business owner. So walk us through what are those different ways that you've been able to capitalize or that you have in the horizon to kind of focus on. Just give us some roundup on that.
This is a very good question. You want to know how I make my money, honey?
I mean, I know. I want the audience to kind of understand that.
You know, I'll be happy to share a few ways that I do, but I just don't want these are not the only ways. Like,
you don't have to do like only yours, like
just
from the shift, right? We keep talking about that shift in the industry. So what are some of the income streams that we look at?
Affiliate marketing, brand partnerships, subscriptions, courses, different kind of digital products.
There you go.
You know, there's a ton of different ways that you can monetize your content.
Right.
I think the key is start somewhere. Start creating the content. Yeah.
Find your niche. And then after you find your niche, you build out of that.
I'm so like niche. I just hate. I don't know. People like hit that so hard.
Well, because it's a business world. And when you're a businessman or a businesswoman and you have been, I'm not going to say like putting this mold back into the language, because you said it when we were talking about it. There's also a language and a culture around business. And you got to understand it and speak it in order to make sense. Because I could say a particular segment in the market.
Sure.
But niche is that strategic market that you identify with, that you're focusing on. Because the problem is that if you focus in too much, you don't get things done.
Well,
you delude yourself, right?
Sure.
Right.
Everybody talks about niche and find your niche, and that's so important. I just feel differently about it.
Okay, tell me why.
And I think that's people are going to catch up to that.
Tell me about it. Tell me why, just to see if I can get you into your mind a little bit.
So, and I do think that this depends on each creator and their demographic. And for me, I used to do, 10 years ago, only fashion. And then when we started having kids, I realized that there needed to be some shift in my content. And I said, you know what? We're going to just try home.
Right.
We're just going to try home. Actually, it was something with one of my partners
Right.
and an opportunity came up. So anyways, we pressed into home content and my stuff started going viral, like millions and millions of views. Right. And I'm a big fan of leaning into what works and trying new things, because when you try new things, you can find better things that work. So now I have a big audience of people who saw fashion and they love my fashion advice and my great finds. And I also now have, because of a ton of viral pieces of home content, a bunch of people who may expect more lifestyle. And so I am adopting a strategy that has been really working well, where I can just reach a diverse demographic with different pieces of categorized content.
So then my thought is, does niche evolve? That's number one. And if it evolves, does the niche also grow, right? As you said, in a diversified environment. I do believe that it does. I don't think that niche is only one particular thing. I think is as the entrepreneur or the creator or the investor start finding their likes, what they enjoy, and at the same time they connect that with their audiences, the niche could either, one, evolve and move to something else, because you also have to catch up with the market. You cannot just have one niche that doesn't have any coherence with the market, not even an appetite for it. That's not going to work. So you got to evolve, right? You got to transcend to what the market is telling you and guiding you, giving you those signs. But at the same time, I do believe that the niche could also grow to include other things, because that speaks very loud of the creator, that person may be able to actually attract other different niche within the strategy.
Bingo.
So then you have other things. So I think it's not about the word. I think about is how we use it and how we incorporate it into the strategy. And you're doing amazing, by the way.
Oh, I love my business.
Right.
I could talk forever about just the challenges, the successes, my incredible partners, my amazing team.
You do.
This was my first baby, truly. And I've been a part of several different beta programs to help launch different influencer programs and live
I mean, I know any beta programs. I mean, you have been, I call it part of that pinnacle of the industry, because as the industry started taking shape, you were part, and you're still part of major partnership with big brands that were incorporating that strategy, right, to reach out more customers, more market. And as they adopt that new reality of digital marketing, influencers, creator, however we want to call it, they were adopting that strategy, and you were part of that strategy from very early on. And I think that that's part of the success here is the timing, right? Being able to see the opportunity before it even happens and jump on quickly.
That was you, baby.
Thank you so much. That was us, by the way.
We were in corporate America.
Right.
We actually had amazing jobs. I loved my job.
Yeah, it was an amazing job.
I wanted to do that. We were both vice presidents. I mean we were rocking it.
I love that, but I always wanted to be, investor, entrepreneur. And this is what I enjoy. Read the lines, the market. I didn't. But now you do.
Now I do. No, because it's until you get comfortable with the amount of risk that's involved. It's just that keeps you up at night.
Sometimes
when you're employed, you can sleep good knowing you're going to work the next day.
Unless you're not performing, right? Well, but we were performing, and I think that's good. But let's go back to this, because I think I love this, especially we just talk about content, but I hear when I go and travel with you and we go to meet these different partners of yours, I think about one thing. Is it truly the content that you create, in your platforms, or is it you? And that makes me think about the power of personal branding. You really become, let's say, your own product, your own brand. And I think that speaks louder than the content. The content can get you far to a certain level, but you as creator, I think that goes way farther, because the power of you, how you present yourself, how do you convert things. Once you touch something, you make it great. People start seeing that. And then also they enjoying working with you. They enjoying the partnership. They enjoy how creative. So tell me about the difference between content and the power of, that you represent when it comes to branding.
I can only think of one word, and it's trust. It's
That's
trust
important.
from my audience. It's trust from, one post can get 100 million people seeing it. That's a lot of people.
Right.
And when I connect my audience with my brands or my partners, it's just all built around
Together.
trust.
That's right. I love that.
And being flexible, being able to be open to trying new things. And there's so many things, but I think that the main thing really connects at the heart is trust.
Yeah, because it's trust with your audience, it's trust with your partners, it's trust with everybody that you work around, right? And I do believe that actually that makes it. It's a big difference. So you become more powerful than truly only the content, even though it may go hand on hand. The you takes you farther. Your authenticity. I think being authentic is key, right? And you can see that, when you put a group of people in a room and you see somebody that is authentic, they arise. You can see that floating right away.
Yes, because we're in a world where there's not a lot of authenticity.
That's right.
Especially as AI is exploding, I
Yes.
think we're seeing less and less realness.
Yes.
We're seeing more
Digital,
fake, just
Mm.
personas. And yeah, I just don't think that connects right now very well with this industry.
Well, and I agree with you. I do believe that it will evolve. And I do believe AI is going to play a big part into this business. We don't see that now because we're still, the mass of the customer base or the audience that is following through, they may be a little bit more from our age, a little bit. But once the younger generation start coming in, they're going to be very well adapted to AI. And that means only one thing for us. We have to adapt, embrace, figure out how do we keep the authenticity, but also catch up to the new wave that is coming as an opportunity. Because I do think it's going to change. It's going to evolve like everything.
Well, look at where it's at today with just video content, Reels. We're recording a podcast.
Right.
We do live streams.
Now everything is digital.
Yeah.
Right.
We were in France and I was live streaming.
That's right.
To meet my goals from France with a 1 and 2 year old, by the way.
That was a difficult trip.
But you're right. The faster you adapt, the further you go.
That's right. And especially in this type of environment, right? Think about it like in different countries and the multicultural exposure that I have personally. And when you are in a first world country, the pace is so fast.
Right.
That for some, it's just too fast. You just got to keep
fast.
and it's hard to catch up. But
yeah, sometimes you're like a duck swimming, keep moving your head above, what is it today?
You're developing a strategy.
Yeah.
And if you take too long developing a strategy, when you come to execute it, you may have missed the boat. So I believe that's why you have to develop a strategy before it kicks in, and you already have to see where the industry may be shifting to develop a strategy. Is it risky? Yes, because you may fail to see where the industry is actually taking off, and you may develop a strategy to a whole different direction that it may not even be there. So then how quickly you adapt to kind of change. But let's go back to the technology, and you said it. I think that you mentioned the AI. How about the algorithm? I mean, that's a big thing that, I remember when you and I we started it, and nowadays, what's the big elephant in the room? The algorithms that exist in so many different social media platforms, and it's kind of like the black box, right?
Yeah.
That nobody knows, and everybody's starting to guess. Well, the algorithm may do this and that, and then everybody's guessing because your strategy has to be adapting to the algorithm of that particular social platform, right? To help you to reach. So tell me about that. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Do you really want to know my opinion on the algorithm?
Give me a little bit, just
Really?
in the surface.
I think that this algorithm, and this is so unbelievable. People literally have built businesses
Around algorithms.
around
That's right. You're
how
right.
to conquer, beat the algorithm. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's this secret.
Right. And they done it well though, right? I mean, some have been
Good for them.
successful.
Yeah, great for them.
Some they get caught and then they shut them down, right?
Yeah. My take is that the algorithm is the people. It is what people want to see.
So the consumer.
That's my take on
Which
this algorithm.
Which makes sense.
I don't really spend a lot of time into, some people get so caught up in the algorithm, and they never take the action. They never get, there has to be, and then some people like don't pay any attention to it at all. And so
then they're just shooting in the air.
Yes.
Right.
So there does have to be a little bit of a balance,
Right.
but I think more weight needs to be on creating, strategizing, doing versus trying to figure out the answers to the algorithm.
That's right.
Because the real answer to the algorithm is serve up what the people want.
Mm-hmm.
You're not always going to know what the people want.
Right.
But sometimes you will. And, oh, man, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, because when you hit it, right?
Yeah.
And you're able to be searching on
yeah, you go viral. That's a good feeling.
Right.
Yeah. It's addicting. You're not always going to go viral. And I also think that we shouldn't always be like focused on trying to go viral, because we also need to be providing content that is valuable to our loyal audience.
Right.
Like when we go viral, we're going to reach a bunch of people who probably don't follow us yet.
Right.
And that's good. There's got to be different sets of content, I feel like, that you make. Like when we strategize research and ordering, we target different strategies. One of those is going viral. One of those is reaching the demographic that is already following me.
So let's continue that because I like it. So how do you transition from posting, fun things and to then also posting things that are for businesses? So I think that you were just talking about that. So how do you make it, from the fun and, posting here and there to now this is a business. You got to create profit. You got to take care of employees. You got to take care of your bottom line. You got to live from it. So how do you do that? Because the fun stuff and great, but how do you make it a business? And then how do you incorporate marketing? Because at one point, the content is great. You are powerful. But then also has to be another strategy, which is the marketing piece of it, to then start pushing this out, right, at a scale level. So that way, now we're talking business, right? So a little bit on that.
That's so good. I once heard from, and I don't know where, but somebody mentioned that they don't post anything without a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so powerful because a lot of times people are just posting to post.
Right.
And when you strategize your post and your content and what you're publishing to the internet, whether that's your website or TikTok or Instagram or wherever when you strategize how to do that and what you're going to do with it, it's a game changer.
Right.
For me, I and I feel like it's a moving target, but currently, let's just talk about currently. So we have our research and ordering, which, as I mentioned, will strategize different target audiences and different ways that we want to use our content and diversify and grow. And then I also create content that is fun and things that I really enjoy. Like I'm doing that date night series,
Right.
where we have a date night, which is so good.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
We have promised to each other that we were going to keep doing that every single Saturday, and we have stayed committed to it.
We have.
And it's amazing.
And it's amazing.
I look forward to that Saturday.
I do too, my love. And
Yes.
and I want to be beautiful, and I want to wear like great dresses.
So you incorporated everybody into our day night Saturday, and I think that's amazing. And you do a really amazing content, by the way. You look beautiful every time you post different fashion and different things that you got going on. I'm the lucky one.
Aww.
Yeah.
So,
Good
but
job.
that's a way that I will incorporate
right.
some different type of fun content. So
Right.
I'm also reaching my demo that follows for fashion.
Right.
You know, I also want to empower some of those women to
Yes.
get dressed up, get beautiful. Like it's so hard to incorporate that time and like wear a beautiful dress, but you love it and it makes you happy and it makes us have a good time. And
Well, because it also you need to also become, like in the beginning, I remember, how difficult it was to launch the business, right? And then at the same time have a life.
yeah.
And now what I believe is that you're working smarter
Yes.
instead of harder. And what I mean by that is you have incorporated the content creation in your lifestyle. So it's easier I'm getting ready because I'm going to day night, right? Boom, boom. As you're doing that, you're creating content.
That's right.
Right? And when we travel, you do the same thing. And when we do, so you find ways how to incorporate what you're doing instead of, I need to stop my living, right? My life to then develop content. And I believe that has been the change for your business.
Yes.
To make it more, to run smoother and to also incorporate your life, right? Instead of stopping it, right?
Yes, because I was looking at my feed, you get so in, you're like, it's a well-oiled machine, and that's a great thing.
Right.
But it's also like when we had kids, things shifted a little bit because
Right.
I want to protect
The time and the privacy.
the time. Yeah, and my children,
Right.
they can't say like, I want my face on there, and I just
Right.
don't want to do that
Right.
to them. So, I had to shift a little bit and find posting for fun, but also how to scale my brand and company.
Right.
So that's just one way that I have found to give a nice mix, because it was all like beautiful, aesthetic, great
Right.
reels that were converting really
you
well.
also want to keep it a little bit real.
Yes, people
a little bit real.
miss you, and
Right.
they want to see the person behind it.
Right.
And
Again, that brand.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
so now when you look at my Instagram, you're going to see like hustle graphics, which is such a part of who I am in my heart. I feel
Right.
like you could go down my Instagram and you're like that's her. You can
Right.
literally see my heart in my feed, because
Right.
you see my pictures, my date night inspo. You see my hustle graphics. It's all about like that fire in her belly.
The fighter of teeth.
Yeah.
That fighter.
And then you've got your beautiful lifestyle content. So I personally feel like that's where the industry's really shifting to, is this incredible blend of business and real life.
And personal. So it takes me back to the question that I was thinking about. So how do you stay relevant then? I mean, is that the only way, mixing things between personal, business, that kind of thing? How do you stay relevant with a combination of technology, the content, how do you do that with the marketing strategy? Because I do believe that the idea of producing content all the time is to stay relevant, right?
Yes.
To not just disappear. So once you get into this business, you got to have a production oil machine in order to stay relevant, right?
Yes.
Producing content. But then at the same time, you just don't get, you cannot get people.
Complacent.
And then also people get bored.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And I feel that that's kind of what you're trying to say here is
Right.
how do you spice things up?
Yes.
So keep hitting that if there's any other add-on.
Yeah.
Networking.
Staying well connected. I have some of the greatest lifelong friends that I'll have forever that I've met.
Yes, I can, if I could partner like the way you partner, it would be. I think men and women they just do things a little bit different. I love to see the partnership you got. They're amazing.
I have some just amazing girls
Yes.
in the community that are just great friends. They don't gatekeep. We're like, here's what's working, here's what's not. Hey, did you see this?
Yeah.
Did you try that?
They're intentional. They're really intentional, and the way it feels like is they care about you and you care about them, and it's this amazing,
beautiful
chemic.
And that is so rare to find.
It is rare
because especially with girls, it's not like that
really?
with guys, but girls can be, and I think again it's just about matching that energy and connecting with who you connect with,
right.
Who puts out what you put out.
That's right.
And it's rare to find. So
I agree.
My girls.
Anything else? So the networking, technology, AI.
Yes.
Using a little bit of that. Okay.
Yeah, and just being aware of what's happening, what's on the horizon, what's next. You've got to constantly be looking ahead at what's coming, but still juggling everything that you have now.
That's called, my friends, entrepreneurship.
That's right.
That's what that is.
That's right.
You keep doing what's working, but then you also got to be seeing ahead in order to be ready to shift or pivot if it's actually needed. So you got to always stay on. How about community? I mean, because I believe community can be not only partners and all. Do you find that your followers, your audience is also part of a big community that you have created?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've got over 1 million people that actually follow. I mean, my content reaches over 100 million people a month.
Amazing.
That visit the Tiffany Allison platforms. And I have people that I even talk to on like DMs from the very beginning, and they're like,
I remember when you were doing live streaming at one point, right? And you and I, we kind of, so from time to time I will walk in Tiff's office and because of whatever, but then she would just help me up and say, hey, why don't you just stay for a little bit?
So like I would coming in from the gym or
so I would come in and I would start talking, and I gotta say that's. Ladies, if you're still out there, I mean, how fun you are. That was like my laugh of the day, very genuine, very truthful, asking questions. And Tiff, try this and try that. And I mean, that was for me, amazing. Actually, that's what inspired this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because we saw how good the relationship between the audience and us, and I just got excited every single time. I think there was a point that I just kept going because I just missed it.
You wanted to see everybody? Yeah. No, we would have hundreds of thousands of people.
In a matter of interactive, engaging, which is different, right?
Yes.
And I was going to ask you that question.
Yes.
It's not the same of 100 million, 1 million, viewers versus engaging people, engaging views. And I think that's very important in this business, right? Engagement.
So important,
right?
Yeah, because this is a loyal audience.
Right.
People that I love and connect with, and they've seen me from being a 20-year-old to now being, it's like we do life together.
That's right.
And, it's gotten harder over the years to stay so super connected.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
that's fun. I love your business. I think it's super fun. It's because of the relationship right, level that is exists.
Yes.
Even though it's digital, you still have a digital relationship that you can relate to
And connect with
and
people
connect,
from
right.
all over the world, which is so amazing that we can be here in this space, but be connecting with people all over the world.
That's right. That's right.
That we inspire and have the capacity to change their lives, make it better.
Yes.
That for me is what drives everything.
I agree. I live the same thing. And I try to teach that to the people that work with me. Is you're leaving a legacy at the end of the day. Whatever you do, whatever we do in this space and time, you're leaving a mark. You're leaving some sort of legacy. Why not to leave a good one? And you do it with the people that you work with, the partners that you work with, the audience that you reach out, anybody that you touch on this journey, you're leaving a mark. Why not to leave a good one, a positive one that can help somehow change this world?
I love it. Absolutely.
So where do we take it from here? What do we do? We talk about authenticity. We talk about at one point, the phone has to become a business, right? And you got to get strategic and all that. We talk about the use of technology, AI, and how to keep a balance in that. The monetizing aspect of it. Anything else that you think is crucial, for your business, for those that are out there looking for,
Strategize.
Strategize. What kind of strategy?
Huh?
What kind of strategy? Just something to just throw one in there just to keep it warm.
No, just strategize what you're going to do, how you're going to make money.
Okay.
That how you make money needs to drive what you do.
Correct.
And
well, let me change the question. How do you strategize? Do you keep always that market of yours, that audience in check so that way you can strategize based on that? That's kind of what I was going after.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah,
right.
There's different ways depending on what strategy you're going to do. Don't just have one strategy. Have multiple strategies and different strategies to get to that strategy.
But always keep the customer base in the center.
The consumer drives it all.
Right. That's what
The consumer drives it all.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And be genuine. Chasing trends is one thing, and I think that that's important. But there also, I feel, has to be it's got to be genuine, and people connect with that.
So let me ask the audience, because I do need to start getting more into this. I really want to hear from you guys, especially those that are in the creating space, in the influencing space, in the digital marketing space. What's the biggest challenge that you really have getting into this business? What's that biggest challenge? You can message us. You can reach us out in all the different social media platforms. But I want to hear from you, because I do think that we can bring value to you and help you to overcome some of those challenges so you can be also successful and a true Caminante.
Absolutely. One listener shared the instability and how...
Oh, yes.
And how you can be at a certain... at a certain place 1 month and then the next month. So that instability in this space, that is challenging.
Right.
That's why I just feel like diversifying has to be. I wish I would have done diversification sooner on a large level.
Well, you're learning. You're trying to figure it out. It's easier to see everything after the fact when everything has been built.
Right.
When you are just in your little ant in this big ocean, right? And you're trying to see, okay, how do I swim over? What would be my best way to? So, I get it.
And one other thing, I feel like it was game changing for my business. Do not wait for and depend on anyone else. a platform, a partner, your spouse, your parents. You are who can make this happen. You know, I just feel like there's a time where you just wait for things to like fall in your lap. And there was a real shift in my mind. And you're almost like, oh, I'm done. I got to figure it. Yeah, you do. Like this is on you.
I mean, I think at one point there's one captain, right, behind, you know, that big ship that waiting for people. And in reality, you're the one leading it. You're the one owning the process, owning the business. Waiting for people will not. People are in a different path, right? And they have different interests, and you're just you bring them in, you know, because of partnership strategy. But you're the one. You're the captain. You're the one. Well, he's the captain. You're the co-captain, but you're the one really leading this thing. That everything is gonna come down to your initiatives, your vision, your strategy. You know, how do you involve different partners? How do you structure yourself? How do you find efficiencies? How do you add different processes to become, you know, that oil machine that you're talking about? It's really on you. Nobody else. People can help you on their way, but in reality, at the end of the day, you're the one that is moving this thing.
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to build it, and then everything will align as it's supposed to.
Yes. So guys, I think this is becoming the end of the podcast. So I would say this: if this episode resonated with you, hit subscribe button, leave us a review. It really helps more people to get exposed to this show. And don't forget to share it with someone that is actually building a brand, is becoming a creator, because this may be a game changer for that person.
Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Follow the Caminante Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you guys so much for being here, and
we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching the Caminante, guys. Love you.
Love you too.
What do you mean? Who do you love?
You.
Okay. Because I love you.
Love you.
All right. Bye.
Great job.